जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन, जमुना तीरा बनचारी, यमुना तीरा बनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरवरधारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। दंडोतनाथ माता जी, थैंक यू सो मच माता।
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for beautiful Manglacharan. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Madhavi Dandapanam. So it's exact 4. I guess we are good to start. Probably more participants will join in some time. So any one of you would like to give a very small brief on what we covered in the last class? It was a conceptual class. So what exactly we tried to discuss? Okay, I'm so sorry. First we'll do the prayers. So sorry. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, एंड बुक मैराथन की जय। The most important month for all devotees, most special month to please Srila Prabhupada is distributing books in this month, specifically Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and not just distributing, but reading, hearing, contemplating on the subject matter, trying to practice in our life, helping each other remember the Lord through philosophical discussions. This also is book distribution. So we are also, when we are attending these classes attentively, specifically switching on our videos, taking notes, and asking questions, we are also doing this book distribution. So do not think because of any, let's say in case if you're not able to go out every day to distribute books, so you might have this, that I'm not distributing books, but Prabhupada has written these books for us to study, right? He said I've written these books for my disciples. I want them to read these books, not just distribute them. So you are also doing the activity for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. So a very big congratulations to all of you that you're taking out your time and energy for this. And by this endeavor, may Srila Prabhupada be pleased and he bless all of us with the right understanding. And we should be able to practice it in our life. Haribol. Okay, so yes. So I just mentioned that if someone can give a very small brief on what we discussed in our last class, basically which was on Nishkam Karma Yoga. Yes, Prabhuji.
It was on Mataji Nishkam Karma Yoga. Like
Mhm.
we have to follow Bhakti Yoga, and our intelligence should be to understand Krishna so that we get the right connection. So it was all that. 2.4 to 2.46 we covered, Mataji.
47 to 49. Actually, 47 to 49 we did not cover, but we covered the concept which drives these verses, which is how to practically apply Nishkam Karma Yoga in our life. So yes, right, Prabhuji. We discussed on how to actually follow Buddhi Yoga, how to link our intelligence with the Lord. Yes. Anyone else would like to add anything else? Shruti Mataji.
Um, yeah, you also gave the acronym Gita and also the Papat formula. So how each letter stands for helping us to remember, like J is for Guru, I is for identity, T is to duties that we need to take care, and A is Atmaram, that is symptoms of self-realized soul. And also for the other one, like P is for prayer and how we analyze and we don't overanalyze. And again, we pray again. And A, I think, was for doing,
Acting, yes.
acting, doing it. And
Mhm.
D is for not regretting it.
Yes.
So, yeah. And these were the, I think, main points. And we covered the texts of 47 to 49.
Right. Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes, pretty much this is what we covered in the last class. All the contents that I have shared with you in the last class, it is from the lectures from His Grace Raj Bihari Prabhuji, who is from ISKCON Chapati, and you also can refer to his lectures. He very practically explains how Nishkam Karma Yoga can be practiced, uh, how we can be conscious of our activities, how we can be conscious of our mind. So, okay. Thank you so much, Shruti Mataji. Thank you, Saurabh Prabhuji, for giving a small brief. And let's begin with today's class. Okay, so let me share my screen and let me know if you're able to see. Is it visible to everyone?
Yeah, now it is.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for confirming. Okay, so as Mataji has very nicely mentioned the Gita acronym, right? So this is what we have gone through in the second chapter, and right now we are in this 47 to 49, wherein we are trying to understand that okay, we have understood that Krishna is saying that you have to dutifully fight with equanimity, and it will not lead to sin, and you have to do Bhakti Yoga, which is also called Buddhi Yoga. So and how you have to do it, we have to be resolute in our purpose and we have to not get attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas, right? We have to concentrate our mind on um, doing the Buddhi Yoga with resolute intelligence. Now, how to practice, that is the biggest question, and which is what is being discussed. The whole class, last class was on this, and today's class we would go through the purports of how Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain it to us, right? And these are the reasons. The third reason is being discussed as of now, which is on the fear of sinful reactions. So what happens is basically um, because Arjun is thinking that if I fight, I will have to kill, and because of that killing, I will get the sinful reactions. So he's very fearful of the result, right? He's fearful of the reaction. This whole section of 2.38 to 53, Krishna is trying to explain, first of all, that how by performing your duty, you are not entitled to any sins. In fact, if you do not do your duty, then you become sinful. And also how you should do your duty so that you are not attached to the results. Right now, what is happening? Arjun is continuously thinking about the result. Okay, if I win, there will be no one. How would I enjoy? Right? Which was the second, foreseeing no enjoyment in victory. Or if I do not win, right? So then there would be death. So in that way, and I would be, if I kill them, then I will have sinful reactions. So all these things, whatever he is giving, all the reasons that he is giving, is all based on too much meditation on the result, right? And what Krishna is trying to explain here is that you should not be attached to your result while you're doing your duty, right? Just give me a second. I'm really sorry. Just a second. Yeah, I'm so sorry for the disturbance. So, okay, so let us go through 47th verse, and it's very famous. Many of you would have already been knowing this beforehand. So, if someone would like to read the words in the translation,
Can I, Mataji?
sure, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Karmanyevadhikarasте ma phaleshu kadachana
Kaleshu kadachana,
ma karmaphala hetu
akarma phala heturbhu,
ma te sangostva akarmani.
mate sangostva karmani. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Can you read the translation?
Hare Krishna. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Anyway, so what is Krishna telling Arjuna? That you have the right to perform your duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. Whatever result that you're going to get, we are not entitled for that. And never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, right? And what happens is, if you see this third line, ma ma karma phala heturvu, do not become the cause of your result. So hetur, basically, when we try to get attached to the result, we become the cause of the result. And what Krishna is saying, ma karma phala heturbhur, mate sangostva karmani. Do not be attached for not doing your duty or work. So everything Krishna is telling in this one verse. If you go slowly, that we have the right to perform our duties, but we are not entitled to the results. And because if we get attached to the result, then we become the cause of the result. So he's saying, do not become the cause of the result. Now someone might think that I do not want any relation with the result only. I will not do the duty. uh, it is a common saying in Hindi, right? Na bajega baas, na bajegi bansuri, and na rahega baas, na bajegi bansuri. So in that way, that if I do not do my duty, then there is no point of result, right? But then Krishna specifically mentions, don't be attached for not doing your duty. This is also very important. It should not be like we are not doing our duty just because we are not attached to the result. So this way Krishna is trying to explain. Let's go through the purports. Yes, Daji, would you like to continue the purport?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purport. There are three considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means action without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions.
Yes, 1 minute, Mataji. So here we'll discuss this once. What, first of all, there are three types of activities, right? Prescribed duties, which are based on the acquired modes of material nature, which we have to do, like they are obligatory. Then there is a capricious work, which means that it is without the sanction of the scriptures, without the sanction of the authority. And inaction is basically not doing any activity, right? Not performing your prescribed duty is inaction. So out of these three, so what Krishna is basically saying, he is advising Arjuna that you should not be inactive, which means you should not do inaction, which he's saying, I do not want to fight, I do not want to fight, right? So this last, Krishna is at the first minute only, he's saying that this is wrong. But he that he performs his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. So the without being attached to the result is most important, which happens by performing a prescribed duty, right? And then one who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. How? Like for example, if let's say I'm giving you this class and I am attached to the result that okay, there should be some fame, there should be some recognition, there should be some appreciation. So what is happening? I am becoming the cause of this action. Now what will happen? If I get it, I will enjoy. If I do not get it, I will suffer. But in both the cases, is the resultant action giving eternal happiness? Is it giving me real satisfaction? No. So that's the whole point. What Krishna is trying to make us understand is, if we are doing any action, but if that action is based on some result, that okay, I want this result, that is why I'm doing this action, then we will also enjoy or suffer the reactions. Contrary to this, if I am not attached to the result of the work, if I'm doing it for the satisfaction of Krishna, then what happens? Either I get appreciation or I get chastisement. I would still be happy thinking that this is what Krishna wants to happen to me, right? Similarly, like for example, um, someone might say that how can you work without being attached to result, right? So, like for example, a particular employee is working for a company. Now, the company has told the employee that you have to go out and you have to get deals. Now, some days the employee is able to get thousands of rupees deals, right? Thousands and lakhs of rupees deals. And someday he's not even getting one, right? Not even one deal is being cracked. But this employee is getting the salary at the end of the month. Whether some days he was getting business or whether some days he was not able to get any business, still he's getting the salary. Why? Because he is working for the company. He's not working for himself. Similarly, when we are working for Krishna, when we are working for the satisfaction of Krishna, then whether we get the result or whether we do not get the result, we are happy, we are satisfied. It's like we are getting the salary of uh, being happy in being surrendered to Krishna. But if we are not doing this, then we will suffer or enjoy, right? And we can see that very practically in our life. If a particular student has worked very hard, given 2 3 years of 12 13 14 hours of studies every day, dedicated, not going to movies, not going to parks, not going for play, and everything he sacrificed just for an exam. Now, if that exam he clears it with good colors, he would be extremely happy, extremely enthusiastic, very, like jubilant. And if he doesn't get pass or if he gets less numbers, so then he would be extremely sad. And that is the cause of anxiety, frustration. So many students are committing suicides because of this, because they're not able to handle the pressure of the result. All the problems in the world, which are actually based on mostly related to mind, anxiety, frustration, depression, all of these are basically related to over contemplation on the result, right? Over contemplation. अभी तक result आया नहीं है. We have still not got the result. but we are over contemplating. What would happen if this happens? What will happen if this happens? Okay, so all of these issues, can we understand? Krishna is giving the solution in just one verse. Just one verse. You are not entitled to the fruits of action. There are a lot of calculation that happens. There is so many lifetimes of karma that is actually making the result come into place. So you are not entitled to the results of the action, as simple as that. So once we understand this one concept, that okay, I'm not entitled to the results, then there would be no frustration. Can we understand how much this will help? And that is why so many devotees are reaching out to college students, to school students, to so many people, because this mind is actually causing problems all over the world. So that is the main thing which Krishna is trying to make us understand here, that do not become the enjoyer or the sufferer of the result of such actions. Okay, now let's go ahead. Yeah, from as far as prescribed duties.
As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scripture injunctions without desire for results, in action in the mode of goodness. Work with results become the cause of bondage, therefore such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation.
Yes, just a minute, Mataji. Thank you. So what Prabhupada is trying to make us understand first of all is that when we are working with the result, it is causing bondage. How it is causing bondage? For example, if I am working for a particular result, I am also entitled to, like, I am not entitled to, as in, I am not the one who decides the result, but whatever enjoyment or suffering that is happening, that is there. But there is also bondage. Bondage to what? Bondage to this material world. Like, for example, if I want to earn a lot of money, so even if I earn that money, even by past karma, I was entitled to get that much of money and I got it. So what will happen? I will get bound by the results. I would I would be using it, not I will not be using it for Krishna's seva, right? I will be using it for my own sense enjoyment. So what will happen whenever we are doing sense enjoyment? We are actually causing bondage. Bondage for whom? Bondage for the soul, because we are identifying ourselves with this body, because we are embodied in this body, and that is why we think that this is I, and this is my need, and this is that I want, and that is why all of the work that we do for a particular result, that causes us bondage, and it does not make us go back to Krishna. And there is a very nice statement which Prabhupada has written here. What he says is, should act without attachment to result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. So, disinterested obligatory duties. Obligatory duties means you have to do it. That is your duty. You have to do it. But you are disinterested. You are not interested to do it. Right? So, Arjun is not wanting to fight. Krishna is asking him to fight. So, he's disinterested. But it is his obligation. He's a Kshatriya. So, his duty is to fight. He must fight. Now, what will such an activity lead to? This will lead to the path of liberation. So that is why it is very important to understand this one line. Now, what can be example for this? So I was just thinking, what can be example on this is eating medicine. So you are eating medicine, you're not interested to eat it, right? But that is an important, it's like an obligatory duty, because you have a disease and you want to get cured, you must eat that medicine. So that is why once you eat that medicine, whether you are interested or not interested, it will actually lead you, it will cure you. Similarly, when we are performing our prescribed duties, it purifies us and it makes us eligible for liberation. Okay, let's move ahead. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji. So I guess this is clear. It's very nicely explained by Prabhupada. Positive and negative, we'll just attachment, which can be positive and negative, we'll just cover that quickly. Yes, so one thing, Krishna has mentioned 3 times here ma. So ma in Sanskrit doesn't means mother, it means not, right? You are never entitled for the fruits of action. Ma karma phala hetu. Do not become the cause of the result. And mate sangostva karmani, do not be attached, right? So this again and again Krishna is saying because it needs emphasis. So yes, this we have covered that if we are working for the result, then we have to enjoy or suffer the results. And not participating in the battle is another side of attachment, right? I'll just give you an example on this. Like, for example, if a man says, I'm not in, he tries to hide his attachment to the females. Okay, he's trying to say, oh, I do not like these people. But what happens is that is another side of attachment because you are trying to showcase hatred is also an attachment because you contemplate on that subject matter, right? Similarly, like for example, um, so we can understand this through positive and negative attachment. If I am attached to the result, I am working for it, that is a positive attachment. But negative attachment is what? I know that the result would be undesirable. I do not want this result, so I will not work for it. Getting it? I know that I'll not get appraisal, so I will not work for my project. I will not work in my office. So is this how you should be? No, right? So this is a negative attachment. You might think, Arjun, let's say what is happening here. Arjun is saying, Krishna, I do not want to fight. Krishna is saying, it's your duty, you must fight. Okay? And then you will not be entitled to sinful reaction. And Krishna is giving him the advice that do not be attached to result, do not be attached to result. Now Arjun would say, Krishna, what about being what? Why are you saying do not be attached to result? I do not want the result only, right? I am saying I do not want to fight itself. So what's the discussion on result? So now this is what is Krishna is trying to explain here. That first of all, like if you are not desiring this result, if you are not desiring that you should lose in the war or you should win in the war, so and it will cause so much of destruction, it is also, and therefore you do not want to do the duty, it is also a type of attachment. This is what Krishna is trying to make him understand, and that is why specifically Krishna mentions this last line: don't be attached for not doing your duty, right? So this is the important thing. And yes, we have already discussed that eating as part of our duty we will get cured, the medicine thing, right? Okay, so let us move ahead to the next verse. So in the 47th verse, Krishna told about that what are the like how you should be doing your duties without getting attached to the results, and you should have this like you should do it just as a part of your duty. Now, what is the connection between 47 and 48 is that this technical knowledge Krishna has given to Arjuna, that you are not this body and you have to work at the same time, right? But how to do it? What is the formula to do it? That formula is given here, and that formula is basically this: Yoga stha kuru karmani. Right. So let's recite the words. Let us read through the purport once, and then we can discuss. Yes, someone would like to read the words in translation?
May I do, Mataji?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yogastha kuru karmani
Yogastha kuru karmani
sangatva dhananjaya
sangam tyaktva dhananjaya
siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva
siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva
samtvam yoga uchyate.
samatvam yoga uchyate.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
Yes. So what Krishna is trying to tell us is how to execute. What is the mood to execute the Nishkam karma? Yogastha kuru karmani. Huh? So kuru karmani, you have to do your duty. How? Yogastha. You should be equipoised, right? So in this verse, you would see Krishna is saying 3 times equipoised. Once in this yogastha. Now what he says, Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Give up the attachment. You should not be attached. Siddhya siddhya samo bhutva, which means be equipoised. Be equipoised in what? Siddhi asiddhi, in success or in failure. And samatvam yoga uchyate. Such an equanimity is called yoga. So yoga is not just doing some physical exercises. Yoga is to link with the Supreme. Yes, we have discussed in the previous classes as well. And what is real yoga is to be equanimous in success or failures. Is to be not attached to our results, and it is to be performing our duties without being attached to the result, with being equipoised. So this is the formula which Krishna is giving to execute Nishkam Karma Yoga. Right? So let us go through the purport. Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga, and this is practiced in the process called Krishna consciousness. Why Krishna consciousness? Only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Krishna or the servant of Krishna. That is right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. So what first of all we have to understand, there are 3 definitions of yoga been told here. If you actually see, first is that work being equipoised both in success and failure, which we saw in the verse, right, above. Then what Prabhupada is telling is yoga means to concentrate the mind on the Supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. So we have the disturbing senses which with us always, and we have to control them, and we have to concentrate on our mind on the Supreme. And the last, which is the most important, which Prabhupada tells us, is that following of Krishna's instruction is real yoga. Okay, so basically, how you, when you are actually following Krishna's instruction, you are doing all of these together. You become equipoised in success and failure. You are able to concentrate your mind on the Lord, and you're also able to control your disturbing senses. Why? Because you're following Krishna's order. And this is also important to understand that in spiritual life, here what is happening? Arjun is taking a decision from a spiritual authority, who is Krishna. For our case, we will not always have Krishna in front of us telling, okay, Bhumika, you should do this, you should not do this, right? You should fight and you should not fight. I will not get that fortune. But how do I get the same fortune is through the spiritual master, through the disciples, right? The disciples who are actually carrying forward the parampara in the right consciousness. So we have to always be in their shelter. Now, what happens? This is also a very important thing which I'm trying to tell you is when we are in someone's shelter and that particular person gives us the instruction, that instruction carries empowerment, that instruction carries the mercy. And if we follow it, then we also get the mercy. We might think that I have been into bhakti since 10 years, I have been chanting since 10 years. Why I am not able to feel any bliss? Why I am not able to feel any attraction for the Lord? But have you taken instructions from, like, while in these 10 years, when you were doing the seva, when you were doing something, Have you taken instructions from someone, or were you doing whimsically? So whimsical seva, I have heard this, that मन की सेवा करते हैं, and we think that it is bhakti yoga, right? So that should not be the case. We should not be doing devotional service for our mind and thinking that this is bhakti. So in spiritual life also, it is very important that we should have some mentor. We should have someone who can guide us personally based on our, he or she can see that okay, what kind of nature we have, what kind of modes we are generally into. Someone is very passionate, someone is more into ignorance, someone is by default in goodness. There are many devotees who are by genuinely, they are very innocent and very submissive, so they are by default in goodness. So in that way, the mentor would understand our nature, and based on, because of his own maturity in Krishna consciousness, they would be able to guide us, right? For example, if let's say I want to develop this reading habit, but I'm not able to. If I go to my mentor that I want to read, but I'm not able to, so he knows that okay, this girl actually doesn't like to read. She actually just likes to hear. So what he will say, he will give me instruction in such a way, by hearing lectures which guide us how to develop the reading habit, I would by default be inspired to start reading. And I would also get some tips through those lectures, that okay, how I have to read. And then I will start reading, probably 5 minutes a day, and then after some time 10 minutes a day, every day basis. And this is how I will develop that good habit. But how this started, basically, I myself was not able to do it. But because the mentor guided in such a way that, because he knows that okay, this girl has such and such interest, so let us guide her through this path. So similarly, like Arjun is taking instructions from Krishna and trying to understand, we also should try to take instructions from Krishna, sorry, from sincere devotees. And someone might have this question that, let's say for example, if we do not have a congregation very close by, or if we do not have some mentor to guide us, then what to do? So then, even when you are chanting, if you sincerely desire, if you sincerely desire and pray to Krishna that Krishna, I want association of devotees, I want association of sincere devotees who are following your path, I want sincere disciples who are actually taking Srila Prabhupada's mission ahead, and I want their association, Krishna, please help me. I want their personal association. And if you chant very, very, very in this desire, Krishna in your heart manifests. He manifests such people. Somehow or other, you get the association. So we have to have faith in this path. This path is transcendental. It's not material. It's not like, oh, I want to follow, but I'm not able to. Getting it? It is always, if you really want to follow, Krishna would really risk. So this we must understand. Okay, so that was one point, which was on how we should be taking the instructions from the devotees, and then we would actually get purified. And what should be the mood in which this activity should be done? We should be in the mood of the servant of Krishna. We should not be like, oh, I wanted to approach this person, but he is always busy. He never gives me time, and this and that. So this is not in the mood of servant of Krishna. If let's say I want to approach a particular devotee and I see that that particular devotee is doing many seva, he or she is very, very busy. So then I should think that okay, Krishna wants me to have patience. Krishna wants me to wait. Krishna wants me to just try, and let me not get attached to the result of whether I should be able to meet this devotee in person or not. So then what happens is, when you actually have this consciousness, Krishna in your heart will make the arrangement that you're able to meet that person and get the guidance, because you have the consciousness, the proper consciousness, that I'm not the controller. I'm not the one who would say, oh, I want to meet you and that person should be available for me. Krishna would see that, okay, this person is thinking, oh, anyhow, I'm not eligible to meet him. But somehow, Krishna, if I get a chance, but no problem, I will wait for that day. Then Krishna would be happy. Krishna would see, yes, yes, he is in this right mood of servant of the servant. And every single activity that we are doing, it should be for the satisfaction of Krishna alone. Every single activity. Right? This Prabhupada tells in the next paragraph. Yes, Prabhuji.
Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such he is participating in the Varnashrama Dharma institution. It is said that in Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashram Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varna Ashram Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act Krishna told him. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So yes, no one should satisfy himself, as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Indirectly, Arjun was advised to act as Krishna told him. So very clearly, we are able to understand what Prabhupada is saying, that there is no activity which should be done for us. Now, someone might say, Mataji, what are you saying? Is there no activity that we should do for ourselves? How is it so? So then just think on each and every activity and see how you can link it with Krishna. For example, you're getting up, you're taking bath, you're brushing your teeth, you're um, doing exercise, you're going for a walk. You would think that, oh, what's in it for Krishna? It is for myself, right? I want to be clean, I want to be fit, I want to be there should be movement in my body, I should feel the energy. That is why I'm doing all these activities, getting up early, taking bath and brushing and going for a walk and doing exercise. But then if you just understand Krishna, I am wanting to be energetic so that I'm enthusiastic in your service. Krishna, I want to be clean because cleanliness is a devotee's first quality, right? Krishna, I am taking care of my body because if I am fit, then I will be able to do your seva for a long time, right? In that way, every activity we can basically give it to Krishna. It's just us who has to contemplate. So when even I am giving this class, I should remind myself before every class, when we are doing the prayers, what we do, I remind myself, Prabhupada, I'm doing this for you. Krishna, I'm doing this for you. Please empower me, right? In that way, whatever activity, whether it is spiritual or even if it is material, because it is our duty, we have to understand that this is my obligation, I have to do it. Now, even if you're disinterested, you can always tell Krishna, Krishna, I'm very disinterested, but what should I do? This is my duty, please accept the results. I want to do it for you, I want to do it for your pleasure. So in that way, we can make our activities become from immaterial modes to transcendental Krishna consciousness, right? And in like that, every activity, cooking, cleaning, earning money, right? Everything, dealing with relatives. For example, devotees, generally neophyte devotees, one problem with neophyte devotees is that even I am a neophyte devotee and even I have done all these issues, that when we are dealing with material people, we become very disinterested and sometimes we show that I'm not interested in this and I really do not want to get in touch with you all. Now what happens is it creates a very bad impact on people's mind, that devotees are like this only. Devotees are highly boring. They do not want to be social. They do not want to get in touch with people. They do not care. In fact, becoming a devotee makes you less, what we can say, you do not have care, you do not have kindness, you become so unkind. So that is the perception of a devotee which general people get if we act immaturely. And if you see, a Krishna conscious, mature devotee would act in very nice way with the people. Why? Because he knows that his actions are basically preaching. When we come into spiritual life, people watch us with binoculars. They are actually monitoring each and every activity of ours. So if we think that by doing this I would be saved and I will get time to chant and I will get time to read and hear, but what happened was you created disturbance in your house, you created disturbance in your circles, and then these disturbances are causing problems to you. Then these disturbances are not letting you chant when you're chanting, not letting you hear when you're hearing, right? Because we did not deal with them maturely. And similarly, like here in this verse, Krishna is saying, every activity should be for Krishna. So then when we understand, okay, these relatives, okay, let me understand. If I've got relatives who are not at all conducive, they are totally against my will and they are like this and they're always taunting and they're always saying this and that. Now, what has happened? How have you got these relatives? It is by your own karma. In your last life, you would have done something. Because of that, you have got such relatives. Some are supportive, some are extremely unsupportive. Now, whatever they are doing, what is the why they are doing that? Same thing. We have the karma as well as Krishna wants to purify us. Krishna wants to become humble. So if he wants to make me humble, he will make this. How would I become humble? If whether I'll become humble when everyone is appreciating me, or I will become humble when everyone is talking bad about me. Right, in the next situation, when everyone is talking bad about me, then is the opportunity to become humble. There is no opportunity to become humble when everyone is happy with us. So a devotee will get such situations so that he gets all the Vaishnav qualities. Otherwise, there is no question of getting that Vaishnav quality. Every Prabhupada got these difficulties. There are all the acharyas have got such difficulties. If you see the devotees, right now the devotees who are very actively preaching, actively studying, trying to propagate this knowledge, trying to follow Srila Prabhupada's instruction, you would see in their life, they are also struggling day in and day out. But the point is not, there are many people who say, how come a devotee gets so much of reaction, Mataji? How come a devotee is getting such bad relations and he is in such problems, such financial issues? But my dear friend, Krishna is taking care of this person. Now, how do you expect Krishna to take care? Like he took care of the Pandavas? The Pandavas were in issues and therefore Krishna was taking care, right? And that is what Kunti Maharani also prays. That Krishna, you give us more and more difficulties. Because when you give us the difficulty, then we are able to remember you. And by remembering you, basically we come out of this cycle of birth and death. So this is good. Difficulty is good because we are able to remember you, and by remembering you, we are able to come out of the cycle of birth and death. So that is the whole point. When we say activities cause us in bondage, is because we are not doing that activity for Krishna. And when we do that activity for Krishna, this is the consciousness. With this consciousness, we become liberated, right? So we have to understand millions of life of sense gratification or one life for Krishna, right? So this is important for contemplation, right? So, and yes, whatever Prabhupada says, even if we, let's say, if we have doubt or if we do not think that how is it true, still we should accept it because Prabhupada is telling the Shastra and Shastra is not wrong. So basically, if we have this doubt that, okay, how come each and every activity can become Krishna conscious? So then we have to think on each and every activity and think on how we can make it Krishna conscious, right? Then it will liberate us. Okay. So moving ahead to 2.49. Okay. So yes, someone can read the verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Shall I recite Shloka Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dure nayavaram karma.
Dure nayavaram karma.
Buddhi yoga dhananjaya.
Buddhi yoga dhananjaya.
Buddhau sharanamanvischa.
Buddhau sharanam anvichcha.
Krupana palahetavaha.
Kripanaha falahetavaha.
Translation Mataji. Shall I
Yes,
continue?
Mataji.
Yes.
Yes.
Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
O Dhananjaya, rid yourself of all fruitive activities by devotional service and surrender fully to that consciousness. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So what
Hare
Krishna is trying to make Arjun understand. So basically, he told us that what is the mode to execute, but then what else we have to also take care. So first thing is dure na avaram karma. Keep all the abominable activities far away. So what was the abominable activity being discussed in the last words? The abominable activity is to do any activity for ourselves. which means all the activities which are not done for Krishna are termed here as abominable activities. And what Krishna is saying, keep all of them far away. Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya, by practicing Buddhi Yoga, you keep all these abominable activities away. Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha. In this consciousness of practicing Buddhi Yoga, you completely surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Kripana Phala Hetavaha. And now in the last line, Krishna says that those who are desiring the fruits of their work are misers. Right? Krishna is telling this, not us, right? He's saying that if you are wanting to have a result, you are a miser. If you are, even if you're doing a seva and if you want some result, that there should be appreciation, people should know that, oh, this person has done all the congregational preaching. So then, even if such desire is there, this desire is, we are misers because we are wanting appreciation, we are wanting fame, we are wanting this and that, right? All of these things are making us misers. So, who are misers basically? If we try to understand, Prabhupada says in the purport, misers are the ones who do not know how to utilize the asset which they have acquired by good fortune or hard labor, right? You have acquired a lot of assets by your good fortune or by your hard work, but you do not know how to utilize this asset. So, an example for this, like for example, a person has got a gift. He has got a gift of a Mercedes car, let's say, and that Mercedes car is so costly, so expensive, so beautiful, and this person is using it for what? He is using it to plow the field. Okay, so what we would say that, oh, are you mad? You're using this big expensive car, which you have got by your fortune in plowing field. It's not made for that, right? Similarly, in this human form, we have got this human form. We have a purpose to satisfy in this human form. But instead of satisfying the purpose of the human form of getting spiritual knowledge, getting attached to Krishna, we are getting more and more entangled in the cycle of actions and reactions. So what we are doing? We are doing the same activity. We are doing. We are not utilizing this human form for the right thing. We are not. No, we do not know how to utilize it. That is why we are miser. So let us go through the purport once. Yes, Mataji, can you continue?
Yes, Mataji, sure. One who has actually come to understand one's constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Lord gives up all engagements save working in Krishna consciousness. As already explained, Buddhi Yoga means transcendental loving service to the Lord. Such devotional service is the right course of action for the living entity. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work just to be further entangled in material bondage. Except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continually bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. One should therefore never desire to be the cause of work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of riches which they acquire by good fortune or by hand or labor. One should spend all energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like the misers, unfortunate persons do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So what Prabhupada is saying, except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continually bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. And the other important sentence was, just 1 minute. Yes, only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work just to be further entangled in material bondage. So we see, right, there are some what we can say, some movies or some wherein a hero is trying to solve one problem, he's getting into another. He's trying to solve another, he's getting into the third problem, fourth problem. And this is how the producers are keeping the audience hooked, that okay, how this person comes out of this and how this person comes out of that, and oh my god, this is so complicated and how is going to manage the solution. But this is what we are doing to ourselves. Every material problem has a solution, but that solution is known to Krishna. If we do not know the solution, we should go to Krishna. But what we do, we try to find a material solution to a material problem. That material solution, same material solution, creates even bigger material problem, right? There are, like, for example, there are so many vaccinations or so many things. Now, these have actually caused many other types of diseases to come in. There are so many pesticides and fertilizers to increase the production of the grains, and these same things are causing more and more cancer and so many other diseases, right? So every material solution is leading to a bigger material problem. If there is so much advancement in science, there should be no diseases, right? If the scientists are so proud of their inventions and their advancement, then there should be no diseases. But what do we see? The diseases are ever increasing. So how do we say that there is advancement if the result is contrary, right? So this is how we have to analyze the how material solutions are not the real solutions. Only spiritual solution is the real solution. So that is why Prabhupada is telling here that we should be utilizing all our energies in the service of Krishna. Spend all energies working in Krishna, and this will make our life successful, right? Do not employ the human energy in other things. So if we read all of these things, like for example, all these 2, 3 verses that we have gone through, it superficially makes us understand that there is no work needed just go to the special place and chant bhajan, like surrender to Krishna and always chant Hari Hari, right? But this is not what Krishna is trying to convey. Krishna is giving the knowledge of Gita where? In a war field. To whom? To a warrior. And what is he saying? To fight. So how can someone conclude that there should be no work is what Krishna is trying to say? No, Krishna did not say any time that you should not work. In fact, he is giving this knowledge in such a high tension situation in a war field. And there could not be any more tension in other situation as compared to a war field. There is so much of tension. In that particular situation, Krishna is giving this knowledge that to not a saintly person but to a warrior. And again and again and again, whole 18 chapters, he's trying to convince him to fight. So Krishna is trying to make us understand that we must do our obligatory duties without being attached to the result. So this will basically make us not get bound to our activities, and then we can come out of the cycle of birth and death. So this way, Krishna gives the relation of 2.47, 48, and 49, that first he tells how to work, that if you work without getting attached to the results, and you should work without getting attached to not doing work. So this is how you should work. Then what should be the consciousness or proper mood while doing this work, which is we have to be equipoised in success and failure. And he's also adding another point in 49, that you should keep all the abominable activities far away and you should surrender to Krishna. So this is how Krishna told how you actually have to practice Nishkam Karma Yoga. In the coming section, 50 to 53, Krishna will tell what are the benefits of actually performing Nishkam Karma Yoga. So this we will cover in the next class. We have 3 minutes remaining. So I would want if anyone has any question, practical question, or something related to Prabhupada's purport which you did not understand, or any point that we discussed which you did not understand, any realizations. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mataji, actually, like in 2.47, it is like Nishkam Karma Yoga and all, like fruits and everything belongs to Krishna only, of results of our work and all. But in our everyday life, we are taking credit for everything. Like we are not saying that it is to Krishna. Like in ISKCON, the people are saying now everything like they give all credit to Krishna. But otherwise, everywhere we start from our home or anywhere in office. So we are every day everybody is coming and saying thank you, thank you, thank you, and all. We are taking all those credits. So duality starts from here only. So we are taking the credit for it. We are not saying like you have done good work and because of Krishna or something like that.
Yes, we have to practice that, Prabhuji. So because this is the thing, na? We have accumulated this covering, material covering since infinite lifetimes. Now the dust of infinite lifetimes will not go away so quickly. In fact, we are fortunate that we have at least got the knowledge in this life after so many lives. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. So durlabha. Durlabh is very rare, and so durlabh is very, very rare. So we are so fortunate that out of millions and millions of people in this earth who are wasting their human form of life in material accomplishments and material attachments and everything, we have at some point of time in our life, by the good fortune of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and devotees, we have got this. Now, all these scripture study that we are doing, what is the purpose? The purpose is to enhance our faith. The purpose is to make us determined that yes, this is your life, this you have to take in your control. You have been wasting millions of life. This life you take in control and practice. Now you will face problems while practicing, just like a soldier practices. He doesn't like to wake up early, he doesn't like to run 10 rounds every day morning, right? But he does it. Why? Because he has a purpose, he has to serve the nation. Similarly, we have even bigger purpose. We are serving Krishna, not just nation. We are serving Krishna. We are serving the whole humanity through Krishna consciousness. So even if we have to serve, we have to have the purity. Prabhupada said purity is the force. So purity is the force, but that force will come when we try to become pure, when we desire, when we start to practice. So that is why the last class that I took, I specifically took the last class before discussing the verse. The reason was so that you should already know what are the techniques to practice Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? How we should always, every day, we should pray to Krishna to please guide me, because we do not trust our intelligence. We trust the intelligence of Krishna. So we ask for help.
We are being cheated every day, Mataji, and we are cheating every day. So the same cycle is going on. Exit. We are in this loop only, na? Cheated and cheating.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. So yes, we will come out, Prabhuji. We are on the right track. We have sat below the tap. Now the tap water will start cleaning us. Based on our faith, the tap water can be more like there can be a lot of water in the tap water, or the tap should be running very slowly. If my faith is strong, that water is continuous and fast. It will clean me quickly. If my faith is, then the tap water is slow. So we should have faith that yes, I'm getting cleaned. Yes, I am in the process. I am in the right path. And we should also not get discouraged when things are not running as we want, right? That is what Krishna is saying. Do not be attached to the result. So probably that is the right result for you.
Thank you.
That this will make us purified.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Okay. Um, any other uh, any other person wants to ask something, or if you want to share some realizations, if you would have heard something, a better point on these verses, I would also want to please hear. Okay. Okay, so we are dot on time today, not extending a lot. Thank you so much for the association. Thank you so much for joining the classes every Saturday. I'm very grateful to you, all of you, for the service. And I also request all of you, in any way possible, please try to give this knowledge to others through book distribution, through discussions, through however, just by practicing it properly and contemplating it properly, also we are preaching. A mother can make the whole family Krishna conscious if she is actually following Krishna consciousness properly. So we have very big responsibility, and we also want to please Srila Prabhupada. So for this purpose, this Marchi's month is very auspicious. Please read Bhagavad Gita. Please contemplate on these topics every day, and please help each other. Help me to also grow in understanding Gita and growing in spiritual life. Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। सद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank you
much,
so much.
Mataji, for the wonderful
Krishna.
class. Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare
So much,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Mataji.
All
Hare
glories to
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada.